Welcome to How to Cook That. I'm Reardon, and today we're making a super indulgent macaron tower dessert, which you can decorate to look like a Christmas tree. You can use it as a centerpiece on any dessert table, or you can make it and give them away as gifts. Firstly, we're going to make our brandy ganache. So measure out your cream, brandy and vanilla and put it into a heat-proof jug and bring it up to the boil. If you want the brandy flavour but not the alcohol content, then let it boil for a bit longer. Pour the cream over the white chocolate and leave it to sit for a couple of minutes, then stir it through. All of the recipe quantities are listed on the website howtocookthat.net, and I'll put a link in the description below this video. You can of course use milk chocolate or dark chocolate instead, and you can leave out the brandy and use something different to flavour your cream. You could try some spices like cinnamon and nutmeg, or for other ideas, go through to the chocolate truffles recipe and it shows you how to flavour ganache in all different ways there. If you still have lumps of chocolate, then you can microwave it for another 10 seconds and make sure you don't overheat it or it will split and the oil will separate. So just do 10 seconds and stir it, then another 10 seconds until all the lumps are gone. And once it's nice and smooth, leave it at room temperature overnight to firm up. To make the mini macaron shells, measure and sift your almond meal and icing sugar first before you start whipping your egg whites. You don't want you to leave whipped egg whites sitting there. You need to use them straight away once you've whipped them. Add your sugar to the egg whites and beat them with electric mixers until they're firm enough to turn the bowl upside down. Then beat it for 2 more minutes. Add in your almond meal and your icing sugar mixture and begin to fold it in using a spatula, making sure that you get all the way to the bottom of the bowl and around all of the edges. And while you're folding, stop a few times and scrape off the spatula and the sides of the bowl to make sure everything's evenly mixed. Continue folding and drop some down from the spatula every now and then to see what it looks like, and keep folding until when you drop some down, it slowly starts to mould back down into the rest of it. Then put it into a piping bag. I like to put my bag over a vase and make sure that the tip is facing sideways so it doesn't all just pour out the bottom. Add the mixture into the bag and then twist the top to seal it, and pipe out your macarons onto some non-stick baking paper in the size of the piping template that I've given you. You can download that for free off the website. Once they're piped, slide the baking paper carefully onto a tray and bang it on the bench a few times on each side. Then place them straight into the oven on a middle shelf. You'll have more mixture left in the bag, so pipe that straight away and bang that on the bench and just leave it on the bench top while you wait for the other trays to cook. And they're ready once you can just gently push down on the top of them and they don't squash right down. Try not to open your oven too many times while they're cooking or you will drop the oven temperature, and that will make the insides of them drop down and you'll end up with hollow macarons. Once they're ready, pull them out and leave them to cool. The next day your ganache should be firm but soft. Whip it using electric mixers, and then using a star-shaped piping tip, pipe on top of each shell, just squeeze and then pull up to make a tall peak of ganache. And repeat that on all of them, and then place them in the freezer for 20 minutes or the fridge for an hour. Dip each one into chocolate and make sure you cover the ganache and just around the top rim of the macaron. The great thing about this is if you haven't yet mastered making them and you have a few cracked ones, no one will ever know. And by putting the ganache on the top instead of the middle of 2 macarons, we only need half the number of them to make the tower. Make a cone shape out of cardboard and then wrap it loosely in baking paper. I placed 1 piece of tape at the start, wrapped it around and then tucked the extra baking paper into the cone. Take your chocolate-coated macarons and dip the base of them this time and the lower sides of each one into the chocolate, and starting at the bottom of the cone, place them all the way around the edge. You want to add enough chocolate to the base and sides so that the tower can hold itself together. So each one that you add should be joined to the previous one using some melted chocolate. Once you've got all the way up to the top, let it set and then pull the cardboard and baking paper carefully out of the middle. Add 1 more to the very top and then decorate it to match your party theme. I'm using fresh raspberries and pistachio nuts to give a bit of a Christmassy feel. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to How to Cook That for more cakes, chocolates and desserts. I hope you have a fabulous week, and I'll see you on Friday.
We are going for it, taking all that tiny thread, weave them into say